Okay, welcome everybody to this Freedompath open house. My name is actually Jeff Gamble. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I own several different companies, including 317 Holistic Health that I own with my fiance here in the picture, Brandy. We also own a real estate company. We are investors. We buy properties, land, lots, etc. We also have a training company called My Leadership Network where we teach people to recruit, team build, and create events. I say all this just to kind of introduce myself and let you know that we've done well, but what we were looking for was a way to basically build a new income. Um, if you do well, one of the things you always look at is business opportunities. And we've been in the direct sales industry for over 30 years. I say that because we look at a lot of different things. We're basically approached at least once a week with a different opportunity, and there's a lot of great stuff out there. Most of the stuff, is cool. We will refer friends, but very few things we actually will engage and actually get involved in. When we saw this particular opportunity, not only were we excited about it, but we realized that there were multiple ways for us to benefit from it, not just using the products, but also what they had to offer. It was such a wide range of different things. So here's what we're going to ask. We need a huge favor. We'd actually like you to look over everything it is we do. So that way, if you run into the right person, you have the ability to refer them to us. Now, if you specifically need the products we offer, obviously you can reach out to the person who brought you to this video. And if you're looking for an opportunity and you see something you like here, please get back with the person who brought you here, and they will get you the rest of the information about how to engage and actually get involved. So real quick, I'm going to go over 5 areas. These are 5 areas I was taught to evaluate. I did not create that list. That list is actually something that Harvard School of Business said you need to look at if you look at any opportunity, which is the company and the leadership and who's behind it, the need and market availability of the products you offer. What are the products? Are they competitive? The compensation, and then the timing. The T in timing is kind of like the L in location for real estate. It's timing when it comes to business opportunities. So, a little bit about Freedompath. This is our corporate staff. The thing I loved about hearing when I first learned about this was Kevin Carroll not only was a great business person, but he was also very tech savvy. And in a world today that everything's going tech, that's something you want. And he was able to assemble this great group of people, both from multiple different fields, because we actually offer multiple different things. We were founded in 2001, which means we've made it past the 5 year mark, which is a good thing. We are kind of like an industry leader when it comes to fintech, which is financial technology. And our mission, the mission is to help over 1 million Americans with the products we have. How are we doing so far? Well, Trustpilot has us at 4.5 stars. Google has us at 5 stars, and the Better Business Bureau has us at an A+ rating. All that means is the customers like the experience. They're getting value out of what we offer. So the main thing that we do is we focus on helping people with credit. That's the need. We are a credit-driven society. I think that's obvious. Whether you're buying a house, renting something, buying a car, insurance, utilities, cell phone, internet, even going to get a job now, people are actually looking at people's credit. So, how big is this market? A lot of people don't know. If you have bad credit, you think everybody has bad credit. If you have good credit, you think everybody has good credit. But we have approximately 350 million people in the United States. About 26% are under the age of 18. That leaves about 260 million Americans. 65 million have a credit score underneath 620. And I think everybody would agree that if your credit score is underneath 620, things are more difficult. Obviously, your interest rates are going to be higher. Your denial rate goes up. You just don't qualify for things. You get turned down. And if you've ever been in that situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 42%, or about 109 million people, have a credit score between 620 and 720. Now, again, I think everybody would agree that if you have a 720 score, it's much easier to get things done, right? You don't have to put as much money down. You get a better interest rate. You qualify for better rates, bigger amounts, things like that. And then 33%, or about 85 million, have a credit score above 720. Now, what's interesting about that is that can change at any time, simply because of a divorce or a job loss or a career shift or a health issue, right? Sometimes it's not, I didn't pay my bills. Sometimes it's life happens. And what do you do when life happens and you have to put this back together? And that's kind of where we come in. So we come in with financial technology, fintech, everything from our different product lines: Freedom Wealth, Freedom Life, Bolt Funding, ID Club, Freedom BCA, which is a funding. And here's a little bit about what we do. Here's the four main product lines. ScorePath. ScorePath basically shows you where your credit stands right now and how to improve it. We use AI. So not only do we have the three credit bureaus and the three scores, but then we have Score AI, which is an AI technology. You don't have to know anything about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. You don't have to know anything about the laws. Our AI system will literally look over your credit report once it's pulled and uploaded into our system and say, hey, these are all the things that we see that are negative on your credit report that are not helping you. And it's going to ask, would you like to dispute these? If you click yes, what they're going to do is, I say what they're going to do, what AI does is basically pull up all the negatives into letters with all the verbiage that you need to send the credit bureaus. Now, if you don't understand the Fair Credit Reporting Act and how the laws work, basically you're able to dispute anything that you see and feel is inaccurate on your credit report. Even if you owe it, if it's inaccurately reported, you can still dispute it. That's the law. Not my opinion, not the company's opinion, but that's the law from the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So what it does, our system pulls everything up into these letters and says, do you want us, meaning the company, to send those letters in, or do you just want to print them? Most of the time, most people just decide to print them, and you have to include a copy of your driver's license and a copy of a utility bill, making sure that all three of those have the exact same address on them, and you mail them into the three credit bureaus. What happens from there? Well, by law, once the credit bureaus receive a dispute, they have 5 days, 5 business days to contact the creditor. The creditor has 30 days to respond. Now, here's just what I've found. This is my opinion. About a third of the time, the companies don't respond back. If the companies don't respond back at all, by law, it has to come off your credit report. By law. Now, it doesn't mean you don't owe it. You might still owe it, but it doesn't affect your credit score any longer because it's not on your credit. It just comes off a third of the time. A third of the time, nothing happens. They just report it back the same way that it was. Now, if that information is wrong based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you now have a legal issue and you actually have the ability to sue that creditor for up to 3 times the amount. Now, obviously, you have to contact an attorney and figure that out, but you do have the ability to go after them, which is kind of cool, because we don't want negative items on a report hurting what we do. A third of the time, it reports back and updates the way it should update. So if you don't owe it, it just updates to zero, or it updates to, a charge off, or it updates to whatever it is that it's supposed to do. So those are the three outcomes. From there, sometimes we need to send another round of disputes. You can first validate it and then you can verify it. And there's about 104 different laws. Actually, there's more than 100 different laws that you can go through to dispute stuff. That's where our credit attorney comes in. So if you do need a settlement payment plan or negotiation, we do have people you can talk to help set that up. And then last but not least, on the credit side, we actually have a credit builder. So if you don't have any credit at all, you have the ability to use our program, and they have an installment loan for $30. $30 that you basically pay into, and it reports to all three credit bureaus, raising your credit score. At the end of the year, it's a 12-month thing. At the end of the year, you get all $360 back. It's all your money. And then you also have the good credit score, which, as long as everything's paid on time, outside of our credit builder, at least this is something that you can add to what you're doing. Next, we have Wealth Path. That's estate planning. things like wills and trusts, personal loans, financial planning. We also have a debt tracker, a savings tracker. There's a bunch of software that you can use, whether you're trying to buy a house, buy a car, pay things off. That software is extremely helpful, especially if you're not like really good at numbers and tracking. LifePath has to do with life insurance, also identity theft protection. We have a local savings plan, so you can look up your zip code and see all the things that you can save money on. A travel planning if you're interested in saving money on travel. And last but not least, this is one of the things I like the best, is Biz Plan. That's actually business formulation. So if you're looking to go into business or you know somebody who's looking to go into business, this helps you incorporate, whether it's an LLC or a C Corp or an S Corp. It kind of walks you through all that. Also, we have a credit business credit academy. So this allows you to create business credit so you're not using your personal name. There's something called a non-guarantee or non-guarantor, which means you're not personally signing, the business is signing for it. And then last but not least, we have business funding. So businesses that are looking to get money, whether it's a few $1,000s up into the millions, we have access to a bunch of different lenders that can help you do that. So those are the four different categories of things that we offer here at Freedompath. Now, how is it working? Well, this just gives you an example of several people. There's hundreds of people that have had this happen, but they just took a snapshot of different people and look at this, increased their score 142 points, 121 points, 125 points. How do you think this Miss Thompson feels with a 237 increase in her credit score? I mean, that goes from not qualifying for anything to now she can qualify for pretty much whatever she's looking for, so long as obviously you fit the debt ratio and have the money. 112 points, 100 points. And look at the time frame, 93 days, 90 days, 40 days. I find with my own clients, it usually takes right around 40 to 45 days to see a credit score difference. Now, I say difference because some people haven't touched their credit in years and years and years. And when you finally pay stuff off, your credit score can actually go down first before it goes up. I'm just letting you know, just in case that happens to anybody, right? But typically, when you remove negative items, your credit score goes up. And I say typically because there's a billion different combinations of stuff here, but we see that normally their credit score actually increasing. How much does this cost the client? It's $189 for the first month in activation, and then on month 2 on is $99. There is no contract. You're just paying in until you get to where you need to go or until you get done whatever you need done, whether that's save for a house or get your will done or your trust, whether that's opening up a business, whether that's buying life insurance. What we say is yes, we have products that you'd want to keep forever, but we're not going to lock you in because we believe that what we offer is so good, you're going to want to keep it. We don't have to have you sign a contract where you're there forever. Next up, we're going to talk about compensation. If you're looking for a way to create extra income, if you're looking for maybe a career change, maybe you're just looking to, provide extra money, you want to save for a house, you want to save for a new car, you want to pay off debt. I always ask people, what is your goal? Is your goal right now to make more money? Is your goal right now to maybe eliminate somewhere you work so you have more free time? Is your goal to create more security? Maybe you're working contract and you don't know if that job or that career is going to last. Some people out there are just looking to help other people. They're like, hey, I just want to get into something that I'm contributing towards, the greater good. And last but not least, some people are just looking for fun and entertainment. You will find people involved in Freedompath achieving all of these things, sometimes all of them together. But most of the time, what we find is people usually pick one of these, and that's kind of their main focus until they get that one done. Becoming an independent broker with Freedompath, you end up getting a lot of tools, a lot of training, and a lot of support. And this is just a list of some of the things that are offered if you make a decision and decide to become a broker with us. A personalized back office, so that way you can manage your business and see what's going on. Broker University, that way you can learn about credit, you can learn about sales, you can learn about debt, you can learn about insurance. Now, we are not teaching people how to get their insurance license, just FYI. If you want to be involved in the insurance part of our business, you can go get licensed to do that. That's the only way you can get paid a commission is being a licensed agent, but you don't have to be a licensed agent to participate in what we do, which is nice. So there's no extra school you got to go back. There's no license you got to go get or anything like that. You do get a custom branded website to your name. I get one. Everybody that comes on board gets one. You have tools and trainings and support in the back office, and then you have a comprehensive marketing system. Um, the people we work with have put together social media posts that you can use, put together pictures, put together memes, putting together text messages that are compliant with all the market. That way we're not breaking any rules, saying things we're not supposed to. They already have it done for you. So all you have to do is copy and paste. If you can copy and paste, you can market, you can do well here as long as you're willing to do the work. So we like to say success in 3 easy steps. Let people know what we do, direct them to the website, help them sign up and find the products they need. So, with that being said, let's get into how this works. We do have a back office. This shows you your ability to manage your team slash customers. So, you can do two things. You can do two things here at Freedompath. You can actually sign people up for memberships, or you can recruit people who sign people up for memberships. The only way we get paid is when somebody gets a membership. So, this isn't just go get them. Go get as many people as you want, because if you get as many people as you want, but nobody gets a membership, that's not going to help you. What we're doing is actually marketing memberships, for these financial service products. Also, we have a back office customer credit tracker. Let's say you know a real estate agent. I'm a real estate agent, by the way. And let's say you know somebody like me who, may be struggling right now. Now, why would I say they're struggling right now? Because a lot of people don't know this, but there's about 1.7 million licensed realtors in the United States and 1.1 million so far this year. That's not my number. That's the National Association of Realtors said 1.1 million realtors this year in 2026 have not sold a single house. Zero, zip, which means none of them have gotten a check, at least from real estate. Guess what they're looking for? They're looking for two things. They're looking to make more money, and they're looking for buyers, basically buyers, people to close deals with, right? So what we show people how to do is create a buyer's pool. What if we could show realtors a way to advertise a program that once people get their credit in check, now they can buy a house? Wouldn't that be cool? So now you can kind of get paid on the front end and paid on the back end. For those of you who are realtors who are like, can I do that? The answer is yes, but you have to disclose it. There is a form, I know, by the National Association of Realtors. There is a form that you have to fill out. If you're getting compensated in any other way, it's just you have to sign it and let the client know. Just like you've got to sign something if you go show them a house, right? It's all disclosure and paperwork in real estate, right? But what this does is this shows you exactly where people are at that you're working with. So you have a tracking system to find out what's going on. Now, why is this important? I know what most realtors are going to say, because I'm a realtor. They're going to say, well, my mortgage person does this. And what I'm going to say is no, they don't. And they don't, because you've given them clients in the past that they say, oh, yeah, give me everybody. And you give them to it. And then that person disappears. You know what usually happens to them? They usually end up finding somebody like me who's actually willing to talk to them, who's actually willing to help them. And because I build the personal relationship with them by walking them through this credit system and working with their mortgage person, I end up with that real estate dude. Now, if they're working with somebody else and they've signed it, obviously I give them back. But I'm talking about all the people who just like try to throw them to somebody else. Nothing signed, no more contact, no more emails. They're not in your database. You haven't had a conversation with them. 6 months later, they reach out to somebody like me through my advertising, and we help them and they close. And then a year later, you run into them and be like, hey, you interested in buying a house? They're like, we already bought one. If you haven't had that happen, guess what? It will happen if you stay in the business long enough. And I'm not saying go take people from people, but I'm saying the people who are really willing to help people get paid. So that brings us to ID Club. Obviously, you want to track what's going on with your credit report, with your identification, or with your ID, right? So this is identity theft protection. We also have a back office for customer credit analysis. So let's just say somebody wants to know where they're at. Am I doing well or am I not doing well? Am I in a position where I can buy something? Maybe you're talking to an investor. who wants to invest down the road. They're like, I don't know if my credit's good enough. I don't know if my credit's good enough to start a business. I don't know if my credit's good enough to invest in real estate. There's a lot of reasons why people want to check just to see where they're at. We also have Bolt Funding, which is the funding program that I talked about on the business side. So if you're looking to start something up, get funded, whether you have accounts receivable businesses or you're just starting a business from scratch and need some capital to kind of get it up off the ground, we are plugged into multiple different lenders. And we have that program as well. And you can actually track it and see who's getting qualified and who's not, and we can get paid off of all that. The life agency, which comes down to life insurance. Not something that I don't have my license. I don't claim to be a life insurance or an insurance person at all in any way, but we have people on our corporate staff that do this. We have an entire department. So if you're interested in doing that, they can walk you through how to get your license, how to get set up to be able to market and sell life insurance on top of everything else. This is in addition to what I like to do because that's not something that I was personally wanting to do. I just refer them off to the great people at our company, and I get points and bonuses based on referring to them, which works out really well because then we both get paid. So that brings us to 5 ways to get paid. How are we paid here at Freedompath? Number one, direct income and residuals. So new customer acquisition. This is not for the life insurance. This is for the membership. We get paid 40%. We do get paid weekly. Your residuals is based on about 30% when it comes to customers. Um, so this just kind of gives you a breakdown of that activation. So this is month one, the day they sign up, what happens. One customer, you get paid $75.60 to bring somebody on board. You get an additional $29.70. This is huge, $29.70 every single month they make their payment. Ay caramba, right. I'll just tell you, the average person that I've worked with in credit repair stays somewhere between 90 to 180 days. That's our average person. I say 80% of people, that's where they're at. And then after that, they start dropping off based on them getting to where they need to go and buy a house and whatever. But watch this. Once you hit 3 customers, if you're able to do 3 customers in 1 week, you get an additional $100. They call it a CAB, which is a customer acquisition bonus. You get an additional $100. So look at that, $226 up front, an additional 100. Now you're at $326. The following month, if all 3 people decide to stay on board, you're making about $90 residually every month. Follow up with those clients, make sure they're getting to where they need to go, make sure that they've walked through the system and that you keep them up to date. Obviously, you got a back office, so you can just let them know, hey, did you know you should get a score increase here soon? We should see some paperwork in the mail. If you sent in your dispute letters, 5 customers, you're at $378 plus a $200 cab bonus. Now you're at $578. Who listening right now would like to make an extra $500 a week? That's probably a good thing, right? We're talking about 5 customers, and then you additionally would get $148 residually every month. Those 5 people would make their payment. Now, obviously, if one of them drops off, you're just basically subtracting 29.70 because one person dropped off, you replace them with somebody else. 10 customers, a $500 cab bonus, 15 customers, 1,000, 20 customers, 2,500. And somebody's like, I've already had somebody ask me, they're like, but yeah, but how would you get 10 customers in a week? How would you get 20 customers if you don't know anybody? Do you know how many realtors there are? 1.7 million. How many of them have not sold a deal? 1.1 million. Do you think it might be possible, maybe, to find 10 or 20 realtors who are like, yeah, I'd like to make some extra money. I'd love to close more deals. What if we work as a team together, showing you what we offer and using that advertising to find people who want to buy houses whose credit isn't where it needs to be, and we show them. Do you think realtors might be able to send you 1 or 2 people a week that they've ran into? That's their job. That's all they do. They look for new clients. All you need is 10 solid realtors bringing you 1 client a week. And now all of a sudden you could have up to 10 clients. Now, it doesn't mean they're all going to sign up. What if only half of them sign up and you sell 5 customers and you only make $500 that week? That wouldn't be bad, especially if you're doing that a couple times a month, right? Twice a month. Now you have $1,000 coming in. No, there are people in our company that rock out over 20 clients every month consistently, and they've done it for years. I have a friend who set up a lot of advertising. He had a bunch of Instagram accounts and everything. He was able to bring on thousands of credit repair clients. So it is possible. I'm not saying it's normal. It is possible. So next up, the broker bundle. Two things we do: customers. Second thing we do is brokers or recruiting other salespeople. Watch this. Now, an additional $100 to become a broker, it's $289. Now, what does that buy? That buys you, you are an independent broker with Freedompath. What that means is now you own your position and you are licensed to sell all these products and earn commissions. You also you also are automatically have the ability to recruit anybody in all 50 states, anywhere in this country that you can bring on board as well. So let's just look at one broker makes you $100 up front and $14.85 a month. Which some people are like, well, that's not a lot. Well, it's not a lot unless you had 100 people on board or 1,000 people on board, and there are people who have done that in our industry. Three brokers in 1 week was $300 plus a $200 cab. Now you're at $500 a week if you're bringing on 5 people. People are like, well, where do I find these people? Well, friends, family, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, leads. There's a bunch of different ways. What about all the realtors out there? I mean, do you not think in between you and some people who have some knowledge that we couldn't bring on a handful of people every month that are realtors who would want to build a buyer's pool and sell more houses? Totally possible. Five brokers coming in a week, $500 plus a $500 cab bonus. People are like, well, what's the secret to making $1,000 a week? Finding 5 people who want to make more money, finding 5 people who want to help people, finding 5 people who would love to fix their own credit, but would also like to refer it to other people and make money too. 10 brokers, $1,000 plus a $2,500 cab bonus. I caramba, $3,500 in 1 week. I'll be honest, some people don't make that in a month. This is part time. 15 brokers. Obviously, it gets ridiculous from there. I'm not even going to talk about it, but you guys can read it. Also, customer acquisition bonus, it just talks about the 3 points, 5 points, all the way up. Those are the money. For every 10 enrollments, we're talking about a $3,500. And that's in a week time frame, right? Also, leveraging the broker model, we get an additional team bonus. This is something called a check match. It starts at 10%, goes up to 20%, and you can actually check match. What does that mean? That means if I or you bring on somebody and train them what to do, and they make, let's say, $1,000, just to make it simple, they make $1,000, and you're at our very first level of check match, you get 10% from bringing that person on and training them how to make $1,000. That means you make $100. Well, that's not a lot of money unless you had 10 of them. And now you make $1,000 for helping 10 people make $1,000. That seems pretty fair to me. If I help you make 1,000 and they pay me $100 to do that, I think that's a fair game. It does go all the way up to 20%. So imagine helping somebody, moving up our chart. Imagine helping 10 people do that, meaning making $1,000, and now you're making 20%, now you're making $200. 200 times 10 is $2,000. So if you can basically move up our chart, which is nothing but points, it's the number of people you bring on board, you could get to some staggering numbers. That's what I call, $2,000 a month is okay, but $2,000 a week, now we're talking about adult money, right? Real adult money. We also have something called an infinity bonus. I like to call this the salary. It's not a salary, by the way, but it is like a salary. It gets paid the first Monday of every month, so long as you maintain a total of 150 points. You got to read the details to it. We're going to explain that in another video if you want the exact breakdown. But just know, when you get to 150 points, it's 2 points for every broker, 1 point for every customer. Let's just say it's 2 points. What does that mean? That means 75 people on your team. You make $1,000 a month every month, the first Monday of the month, so long as you keep 150. 300, it goes to 2,000. 600 points is 4,000. 1,200 points is 8,000. That is $96,000 a year. That's a base. That's a base on top of all the other money that's here. And then, of course, it goes all the way up to some ridiculous number, $128,000. No, there are not a lot of people who will hit that, but there's a few. I don't know if you're willing to do the work, but it's available to everybody. My friend's like, well, a lot of people aren't going to do that. I was like, that's true, but how many people at your job make $128,000 a month? The answer is zero, except for the owner. Right? So you want to own. That's the key. Freedom Life. This just talks about the life insurance program. Get with somebody from our company to discuss that more. Next is your business on your terms, basically working the hours you want to. So we do have dedicated training. We do have weekly pay along with monthly pay. We do have the ability to work from anywhere with flexible hours. You do have your own custom branded website. You don't have to create that. That's done for you. We do have training certification so that way you can get more knowledgeable about all these products. You do not have to be an expert to make money, but I will say the more knowledge you have, typically, the better you do talking to people. Recognition and awards, and then you have a willable, sellable transfer. This is where it's so different. People are like, well, why would I want to do this versus job? I have a question for you. Can you sell your job to somebody else? Meaning, if I got hired at McDonald's, if I got hired at Walmart, if I got hired at Charles Schwab, when I get fed up with that job, can I go out and sell my job to somebody else and earn a commission from that? And the answer is no, because you own nothing at a job. You own nothing at a job, nothing. But with this, with that $289 investment, you own and lock in that position and you have the ability to sell that book of business to somebody else, just like you can do that in several other things, financial services, insurance, real estate, depending on the company, right? Depending on the company, you do have the ability to do that. You sell the book of business. When you own a business, you're not selling you, you're selling the book of business that you created, which is what you have the ability to do here. So with all that being said, if this is something you are interested in on the product side, obviously get back with the person who brought you. If you're interested in the business side and you're interested in an income, please get back with the person who brought you here. We are going to help you launch your own business. Again, the investment's $289. It's then $99 a month. You have access, watch this. You have access to all the products we offer, so you're able to use any of that. And you have the entire back office business tracking, your website and everything else. That's all included in the 99. So with that being said, get back with the person who brought you here. It says, do you like the sound of this? If so, I always ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you refer us, or 10, you want some more information, or you're ready to get started. Get back with the person and let them know where you're at on the scale of 1 to 10. We will get you the information you need to make that decision. If you make a decision to come on board with us, I want to be the first one to say congratulations. You're making a really, really good decision. We look forward to working with you. We look forward to your success. I appreciate it so much. Get back with that person, and we look forward to talking again.